stories from the road. Not the road, but stories from basically touring.
25 years of stories, man.
Yeah, 25.
That's a long time.
Before COVID hit, we were basically, would you say we would tour like probably like 40% of the year, or maybe like 50% of the year?
Something like that, yeah.
Would be spent like actual touring, like,
yes.
You know what I mean, doing shows and whatnot,
yes.
doing the gatherings.
How much of that before we fell into that though? Like back in like the fucking early 2000s, 90s and shit.
I'd say it was like 60%.
Easily 60%, probably more than that. But that's just playing it very, very fucking safe. You know, when we first started touring in vans, you know what I'm saying? We'd be soaking wet in Fago, and the fucking van would be our dressing room. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So you go right off stage, right into a fucking freezing cold van in a blizzard. You know what I'm saying? Trying to dry off and shit. Then you go to the fucking rest area and go to bed for the night. You know
And we didn't have any like tour bus drivers back then.
No, fuck
like,
no.
So if we had a series of shows, we would do the show, get in the van, drive. We didn't.
The passenger had to stay up so the driver didn't fucking fall asleep.
Let's
too.
keep it real though. While
You know
I was sitting there talking about how hard it was, let's keep it real. It was nothing but the shit.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah,
Because here's the deal. Our younger bodies could handle that shit.
Right.
Sleeping on a bunch of cords in the back of the bus.
Fuck yeah.
Or in the back of
Like
a
a
van.
van.
Didn't mean shit. You know what I mean?
No.
Changing in a freezing cold van.
You'd wake up
You
fine.
were so fucking athletically fucking capable. It didn't matter.
The only
You didn't wake up sore, you
the only
know.
thing that sucked about it was the fact that you were doing it. I mean, physically, you were fine, you know what I'm saying?
Every fucking time we hung out a sampler, it felt good. Like, wow, that ninja is bumping that shit right now, probably. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you're an artist and you want your foot in the door, you want to make some success, man, this ain't work. None of that shit was work, man. It wasn't like, how'd you guys deal with that shit? Man, we wanted success.
Right, and like you, and nobody put us on, you know what I'm saying? So like that for us to make it, that was necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody don't put you on, how the fuck do you get your name out there? You know what I'm saying? You just sit on your ass and not do shit?
But there's nothing like a motherfucker getting out of a van with a giant fucking riddle box snake
making a
tongue painted on the
spectacle,
side of
right?
it, and giving you a sampler in the palm of your hand.
Right, exactly.
Those people remember that shit. Like, wow, this ninja just gave it to me.
Right, to this day, you see people, they're like, yo, I remember when I was in high school, I saw those fucking vans pull up, man. It was crazy.
Like,
you know
we
what
hear
I'm
that all the time. Our
saying?
fans, it was all juggalos, right? All juggalos. And we had to go on last. And then ONYX was like, and God bless them for this, they were like, man, we need more money.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
They wanted more money to play.
But also,
the house was so fat.
But also, we promoted those 3 shows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There was not a promoter that put that. It was psychopathic that was promoting those.
Okay, well,
so they went right to Alex like, yo, we want more money, man. It's a sellout, this and that. Like,
hold on a second.
You know, you're thinking of.
I remember the crowd leaving. Like,
what
after
you're thinking of is the big show we did in Toledo with MC Breed, Outkast.
Yeah.
You know, who else was on there?
Fuck, I just remember Outkast.
MC Breed, Outkast, fucking Too Short.
Yeah, no, Too Short was in Monroe. That was a different show.
No, I know. I remember the Too Short show, of course.
Yeah, because we turned that out too.
But wasn't he on this one too? Oh, Coolio.
Yeah, but yeah, I just remember ONYX or fucking Outkast was like the.
But that, Rob, is when they just fly out.
Yeah, because that was at the Toledo Sports Arena, and I remember that's like when we first were throwing Fago and shit. We had cans of fucking Fago.
I remember something crazy.
And then we got a little bit of pop on the DJ's fucking turntables. It was like $600 cleanup fee. We're gonna some problems.
The other thing,
that was
like you couldn't drink. Now, this I'm not 100% clear on because I never in my life have drunk or smoked weed or anything, but you couldn't drink on the day of the show.
Let's give this man a blunt.
Listen, you couldn't drink on the day of the show, and you couldn't smoke weed or something, or was that
Until
just
after the show?
Until after
couldn't
the show.
do any of those things before the show.
Before the show. So from the time
and you still
got
couldn't on the bus. You couldn't on the bus even after the show.
Yeah,
there was occasions when like we'd have like a party or something.
Yeah, I didn't think this was.
No, motherfuckers be hiding in the bay smoking weed all over the place.
Yeah, we weren't.
On days off, sometimes we'd have like a party in the bus, but yeah, it was never. Or if we had bitches on the bus or something.
When bitches wanted
then
you mind if we smoke?
Right.
The rules were quick.
Those rules were crazy because I remember even when we did music videos, like the earlier music videos, I kept getting hit up by directors and shit, and they're like, y'all don't fucking smoke weed.
Man, we
drink.
still do that shit, right?
You know what I mean? The whole time, from the morning until load out.
Man, you don't know how many people
drinking,
drink in the studio and shit.
What's
like,
that?
every day they drink in the studio, 40s in the studio. Shit, we still have that rule, man. No
I know,
fucking
but
drinking before anything you're gonna perform on. Anything.
But yeah, and I think it was a solid rule. But then, you know, like we had Misery. Remember when Misery was turned? They were like, "What the fuck? We can't smoke weed."
Right.
Like, you know, people get shot.
Anybody that actually smoke weed, because we were so out of that game, dog.
Anybody that's on the bus, you have to follow the same rules everybody else is. These are
we
the fucking
told
rules.
Be Real.
Right, you couldn't smoke weed.
From Cypress Hill, he couldn't smoke weed on our bus.
Oh man,
We were stupid for that, man.
You gotta go outside with that shit.
How did that happen? How did
We
that
were
work out?
fucking real lame for that one.
Oh, man.
Well, hey, man, you know, we didn't know.
And I just want to talk a little bit about the tactics that I was implementing as the road manager. Like, when it came time, I'm going to try to explain this. When it came time to settle up with a promoter, they would have a list of expenses, right, of all the shit that they paid for the show. So that would have to be paid out first before you got the split of the profits, whatever the split was, right? Sometimes it was based off of tickets, sometimes it was a flat fee. But they would always, like, add shit on because they would send you that list ahead of time, like this is all the expenses of the show, so you'd have it days ahead of time. But then when you got to settle up with them, they'd be like, oh, we had to add extra security, we had to add this, we had to add that, all this bullshit. And I was so, like, at the time, I was so gangster kind of with it.
Beating a promoter's ass is very much a part of hip hop.
Right, but check it out. Like I was so gangster with it, and I didn't have any schooling on
no
it.
formal training.
Nobody told me how to do it.
Yeah.
And every time they would come here on this, I'd be like, man, what is this fucking bullshit? You trying to hit me up with this bullshit? Did I agree to these extra expenses? So y'all just spending my money. Y'all spending our money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Without even getting at us.
Yeah.
Like, we agreed with the first cost, but then you went ahead and spent this other money without even running it by us. So you're spending our money.
Which you never even really spent.
And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about all that other bullshit. We're not paying for any of that. You know what I mean? I'll be like, look, you better give us our money for this, what I got here, this paperwork right here, that's it. That's your cost.
You cannot have a weak-ass road manager.
In my hand.
Right,
See?
put the money in my hand right now, see?
Quick and efficient.
But and they would be like, all right, you know what I mean? Because they see, like, I wasn't giving
No,
up.
our crew, like fucking, like people that have done road management for our crew are like all got like notorious. So I know Dougie's got a story about he had to fucking take a promoter's car. You know what I'm saying? Took the motherfucker's car.
Yes.
Every night they take a percentage of your merch. Okay, so what I feel is fair. Like 20% at the. I always try to negotiate like 10%,
yeah, 20,
15%. That was common. The snakes would go for 20, but then you have these clubs 30, 35%. They would take 35% of your merch.
The mad nice ones.
So we would come rolling up into these fucking venues, and I would look at my paperwork and I'd be like, oh shit, like I wouldn't set this stuff up, right? It was Alex and the you know, the tour,
Touring agent.
The touring agent. So I would look at the paperwork, I'd be like, oh shit, 30%? You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck that. So we come rolling in the club, I'll be like, look, man, this 30% ain't working, you know? Like, we you know, this is what we survive
It's all
off
been
of.
agreed upon beforehand.
It doesn't matter. I'd be like, this is what we survive off our merch, you know? And sometimes they'd be like, all right, well, what do you think is fair? And I'd be like, man, the most we're going to pay is 20%, you know? And sometimes it'd be like 35, 30, you know, whatever. But I'd always beat them up, you know? And if they were asking,
outside, motherfuckers.
if they were asking for 20, I was getting 10. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. And a lot of times they just agree to it. All right, fuck it. You know what I mean? And, you know, and so that, but sometimes they wouldn't.
That's because they didn't understand the power of our merch.
They were like, oh, it'd be some corporate, like it'd be an arena or something, and they would be all corporate, and they're like, no, that's just how we do it. 35% is the standard. And then I'd be like, yeah, I would come in and I would talk to you guys. I would be like, man,
It's
these
time to
guys,
hustle these motherfuckers.
yeah, these guys are being,
Time to fuck
these
'em.
guys are being whacked.
Yeah.
Do you agree we don't sell if they don't fucking drop the price? And we talk about it for a second. Yeah, okay, straight. So then I go back to them and I'll be like, all right, we're not selling. You know what I mean?
We never said no to that.
I know, you know what I mean?
Man,
and then
no,
they
we
would
wanna
be
do
like,
the show, man.
they'd be like, oh shit, you're not selling? And they'd be like, no, and they're like, for real? And they're like, no, we're not selling. If you guys don't drop that price to 20%, that's the most we're paying, fuck it, we're not selling. So then they'd be like, all right. and they'd walk away, and then I'd tell our guys, tear the fucking merch booth down. So they start tearing the merch booth down. I guarantee you, fucking every time they'd come back. All right, yeah, all right, 20%. You know what I mean? They're starting out in the game in the music industry. Other tactics we would pull. Every fucking venue you go to, everybody wants free merch. They act like you're not paying out of pocket.
Yeah, of course.
Like all the fucking stage hands, promoters, fucking club owners. I don't give security. They're all, hey man, can I get a shirt? I mean, I've been asked that a million times. You know what I mean? And so, you know, all that shit costs money. So we came up with, oh, you got to talk to Ross Baker. You know what I mean? You gotta talk to Ross Baker, man. He's the one that makes the call. So then they would go around asking everybody who Ross Baker. Ross Baker don't exist. You know what I mean? He's not a real person.
It sounds real.
I'm looking for Ross, man.
You're never gonna find Ross Baker, you know. And so, but everybody hears it. They're like, "Oh yeah, Ross Baker. I just seen him. Like he was over there." You know what I mean? The other thing is when you're selling merch, they count in, right? So that they count in all the merchandise that you brought in the club.
Try to keep it from hustling.
Right, and so they know the exact counts, and then when you start selling at the end of the night, they count everything out, and whatever's you know, then they can determine how much you sold.
All right, see it together.
Right. So what we used to do is bring in extra merch.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In between the show,
so
like you would sneak it in.
So their count would still be fucking high shit, even though you sold matches.
Like let's say you started with 100 shirts, right, and you actually sold like 50. You'd bring in an extra like 40. And it looked like you sold 10. You only sold 10, you know what I mean? So we'd be constantly...
So all you up-and-comers out there,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that, hey, on the road still, man, the merch game is still like that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
So you see like
that's sellers, a lot of fucking artists.
Sellers coming in with backpacks full of shit. We'd have Fago fucking cardboard boxes. Oh, this is just Fago, you know? It's all fucking shirts. Full of merch and shit, and we'd be constantly, like our sellers were all hip to this, you know? We'd constantly... you know, I settled up with these guys, and usually what they do is they get the merch cut first. They always do that. They get the merch cut, and then they settle up with you, and then you get your money from the show. This one time, this guy
half the time they're paying you out of that merch cut.
So what they did was they settled up with the venue cut with me first, and we signed off all the paperwork. But they didn't get any of the merch money yet, right? Yeah. So, you know, they get their percentage, right? And I was like, oh, straight, that's it then? He was like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, okay.
Oh, they forgot?
They forgot.
Wow.
So I went out to the bus. I just kept all the money, you know what I mean? And then they were, like, looking for me later. They kept knocking on the door on the bus. And I told the bus driver, I'm not here. I mean, like we would do, like... Man, sometimes like 50 G's for one show.
Right, yeah.
Like more sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? And merch, you know, because like there'd be a sea of ninjas all buying merch as fast as they could, like as fast as you could sell it. You know what I mean?
Bootleggers used to get it, man.
Yeah, so like basically, you know, I came up with a tactic how to handle bootleggers because you'd hear about it. Oh man, they're selling your shirt outside for $10. You know what I mean? And you're like, what the fuck?
They're fucking bootleggers.
Yeah, they're out there
selling this shit.
So. When we went on tour, all right, let me explain this too. When we went on tour, it'd be like a couple semi-trucks, 2 tour buses, and we usually have 2 to 3 vans wrapped. And the vans would be ahead of the tour promoting the show, you know, before we even got to the city. Then the tour buses and everything would come rolling in. We'd all kind of connect together. One guy, I remember one writer described our tour as like Star Wars, like our buses are like Death Star or not Death Stars, but Star Destroyers, and the vans are like the TIE fighters circling. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because we had like a fleet coming into town. You know what I mean? But anyway, so these vans would be there at the show, right? And you know, and basically they're with us at the show. So what I would do is I'd roll, you know, basically get our crew together, usually like 8 ninjas, let's say. We'd jump in the van, we would roll out, and basically, you know, just circle the venue looking for the bootleggers, and they'd always be on the street corner or whatever. We'd roll up on them slow, everybody would jump out, and we'd just circle them, you know, and then I would say, yo, I'll be like, I'm gonna try to do my intimidation way. Yo, my man, yo. They'd be like, oh shit, what? And I'd be like, you got two fucking choices right now. Either give up that fucking bag with all your shit in it, or get your ass beat. What's it gonna be?
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. What's it gonna be?
And we're still gonna take the bag after you get your ass beat anyhow.
Right, and they would look around and be like, oh shit, they'd be surrounded by 8 ninjas, and they'd give up the bag every time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, can I get my bag back? Can you just, no. You know what I'm saying? And so we would hit up all the fucking bootleggers, everyone we found, same thing, circle, boom, give up your shit, take their shit, and then we'd have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these bootleg shirts. Yeah. Now when anybody's asking for fucking free merch, that's when we give you all these shitty ass bootleg shirts. Here you go.
Yeah. Right. So anyhow, we played San Francisco. Don't remember where. Don't remember what year. It was way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It must have been maybe 98 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Twisted were on the bus. Fucking Misery for sure was, because he was a big player in it. And then our just normal crew. You know what I'm saying? And all of us. And so. We had early bus call a lot back then, because we had long drives. Like nowadays, we had to stay in the city till 5, 6 in the morning, and just drive for a few hours, whatever. But so we pretty much always leave right after the fucking shows. If we were in town, it'd be for a couple hours tops. Just where they're breaking down, loading out and all that shit. Then we'd head out. And so we'd always first thing we do, everybody be hungry as shit, so we'd look for somewhere to eat. You know what I'm saying? So everything was fucking closed around where we were at, and everybody was starving, so we wanted to get something to eat before we got on the freeway and had to drive out 2 hours to find a truck stop and shit, you know what I'm saying? So somehow our driver found this little fucking diner restaurant. It wasn't a diner, but it was a little, it was a hipster restaurant almost or something, you know what I'm saying? It was in the middle of a fucking neighborhood, in middle of the fucking hills of San Francisco. Our bus couldn't make the turns. You had turn 10 times to turn on the street and all that shit. So we parked pretty much right in front of the place, maybe down a few buildings, but we were right in front of the fucking spot, on a big ass hill, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like us and 4 other people in there, you know what I'm saying? And then the waitresses and all that, eating. And our crew was just fucking massive, you know what I'm saying? Everywhere we rolled, our crew, when we went into fucking Denny's at night, whatever the fuck, it seriously takes 3 hours just to get our food, because our crew...
At least 20 people.
At least, you know what I'm saying? At least, because we usually had 2 buses, and they were full to the max plus people, you know what I'm saying? So it was at least... Not
everybody would come in, but there'd be
There'd be at least 15 people in eating, you know what I'm saying, at any given time, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, a bunch of big dudes, too. We ain't a little-ass crew, and motherfuckers, you just look at it, you're like, those motherfuckers probably fight, you know what I'm saying? We're all fucking eating, and like I said, I know as soon as I'm finished, you guys are probably gonna fill in the gaps or whatever the fuck, but there was a dude and this bitch in there eating, you know what I'm saying? And the dude was just being really fucking belligerent, you know what I'm saying? To the waitress, he's being a dickhead to the waitress, you know what I'm saying? They almost making her cry and shit, you know what I'm saying? He was just being a fucking asshole. And his bitch was clearly fucking distressed over it, you know what I'm saying? She's all embarrassed, didn't even look up, he's like, oh, whatever, oh, she don't give a fuck, hey, fuck you, bro, just a total dick wipe, you know what I'm saying? And then, so he wasn't saying shit at us at first, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think he noticed us. My speculation is he was fucking coked out of his mind. Because anytime I got into a fight with a cokehead, they're really hard to fucking keep down when you beat them up. You know what I'm saying? They always want to pop back up. Always want to pop back up. No, you mangled, pop back up. but you know what I'm talking about. But fucking, so anyhow, fucking, he started fucking fucking with us. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the exact details, but he started fucking around. You know what I'm saying? So we were like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and handle it. So we were like, yo, what's up there, homie? You know what I'm saying? He's like, fuck all you. I'll take all of you motherfuckers. We're just
wow. That's, what's interesting? No, go ahead.
I'm sure I'm probably awesome. I'm sure you remember it different. Yeah, but let me just, because it'll be quick, because I know that it's going to take a fucking half hour after I'm done with it. Sure, but everybody's adding in, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is just my take on it right quick.
I know, I got you.
Because I'm sure you've already fucking found 10 holes in my shit.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, long story short, it's going to get filled in, you know what I'm saying? So long story short, we end up going the fuck outside, yo, what's up? And he comes the fuck outside. We're just like, I can't fucking believe this.
Right there is insane. I mean, we're fucking crazy deep.
15 deep at least.
And none of us fucking friendly.
And we're all thugged out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's tall as shit.
We're all hangry.
Right. And we didn't even fucking eat, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? And then fucking, who knows how many fucking other people got on the bus? He didn't fucking know, you know what I'm saying? There's 2 buses out there. And then fucking, Well, he just talking enough shit, and I think like Rob and Nene and Joe are at the forefront of it, but he just started getting fucking mollywopped, but kept popping back up. Yeah. And then fucking, I just remember my part of it. Dog, he got swarmed on by every member of the fucking buses. Right. You know what I'm saying? So much so that you be punching your fucking homies in the arms and shit, trying to punch them like, oh, my bad. And I've got like 4 or 5 really good fucking kicks on his wrist. Like, his shirt was gone. It was ripped off like that. It like blew off of him. You know what I'm saying? His clothes just disappeared. You know what I'm saying? They got blew off it from getting punched and kicked. And I just remember one of the times he just kept getting back up, and I was kicking him so fucking hard, it sounded like firecrackers popping off.
Damn.
And everybody's beating the shit out of him. He'd get up, and he'd try to run a couple times, and he fucking would smack the fucking parking meters. Like, boom, just fucking, and then people would just grab him, bouncing his head off, everything. Then somehow, I remember Nene, and then Nene fucking busted out the box cutter. We're like, yo, what the fuck? Right. We don't need to kill him where he's already getting fucked up. We don't need to stab him and all this confusion, But then, whatever, so they fucking, I can't remember, somebody like police or some shit like that. And then somehow, we fucking destroyed this guy. And then when we pulled off, he was still on the fucking front of the place talking shit as we were pulling off. The fucking underwear all hanging out, no fucking shirt on, face all fucked up.
Albuquerque. Yeah, it was down there in Albuquerque. Do you remember, Joe, we were doing a show down there, and you hit a ninja with the microphone?
Oh, yeah, I remember all that.
I went to jail.
Okay, yeah, you went to jail. Go ahead and tell the story.
I was on stage doing the song How Many Times? And I had my eyes closed, and I was for real, fully picturing myself Eddie Vedder. That's something I used to do on stage a lot. In my mind, I would be Eddie Vedder. Right? And then when I see the reflection, I wasn't Eddie Vedder. I was a fat clown. But in my mind, I looked as awesome as Eddie Vedder. From fucking Even Flow days, you know what I mean? Just incredibly handsome, hair all wet, long, down on my fucking nipples, and fucking just awesomely artistic on stage. But then I would catch a glimpse of the real me, and I'd be a fat clown, and I'd be like, whoa. I wonder if anybody knows I think I'm Eddie Vedder right now. Because I don't even resemble anything about him right now. All right, anyway, I'm doing that moment. I'm all in this song, right? And then when I open my eyes, I'm focusing to make them out, and there's a ninja standing on stage, right in front of me, like a foot away from me, double flipping me off, right? Okay. And it's embarrassing. I'm coming out of this, like, I'm in a song. And I'm like, open my eyes up, and I'm like, what is this? What am I looking at? And it's just a dude flip me off. And what does he do? He does the most ditch-headed, cock-fucking-headed thing. I don't even like the word cock. But he does a total cock thing. He fucking flips me off and then falls backward on the crowd, and he's floating on the crowd, and he's looking at me like, you know what I'm saying? Just like it's ultra cool. It doesn't even look back at it, just falls back like, and then just hold him up. And I was like, all right, bitch. And I took the mic stand.
Oh, okay, that was it.
Because I had the mic and the mic stand. I took the mic stand and swung it like a giant iron battle axe, Rob, and fucking hit the forehead with the mic stand, the heavy bottom. And I just remember the silence. Like, I don't know if there was a break in the song or what. I just remember the awful, god-awful silence, right, of the stunned juggalos. It was like 3 seconds long, like, and then all of a sudden it erupted into cheers, you know what I mean? And I was like, thank God. I thought everybody's about to turn on me, you know what I mean? I remember because after the show, I'm walking down the stairs, sopping wet, and they threw me in cuffs, man.
The cops are already there?
Yeah.
Oh, guy come in.
And I at the police station, there was 5 bitch-ass juggalos there to fucking ID me. And they got face paint on everything. I'm like, you punk motherfuckers, man. Really? You got face paint on everything? You here to ID me? Make sure it was me and not some other clown?